Well, folks, I just got out of runnings here in Plattsburgh, New York, and it's kind of like upstate New York's in the Adirondacks answer to Harbor Freight and Tractor Supply, with a few more things under one roof. Lots of hunting and fishing gear there. And, well, interestingly enough, a couple things. First of all, I was able to find the last pack they had of the Max Scent flatworms, and I also ran into a guy who recognized my YouTube channel. So that's a good thing, and hoping it's a sign of kind of a sign of things to come tomorrow. So we'll have to wait and see. What is going on, everyone? John Pascavage here, and met the Fairfield Inn Marriott in Plattsburgh, New York. And big day tomorrow because it's another MLF BFL Northeast Division tournament. Tomorrow we're on Lake Champlain, New York, going out of Plattsburgh here. And it's going to be kind of looking forward to it because, well, there was a Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit event here just last week, and some of the bags they weighed in were just unbelievable. Some of the smallmouth they weighed in, and they had that last week. They have our tournament, and then a couple days they have the Toyota Series coming up here as well. I won't be fishing this Toyota Series just because I don't want to take those days off, and it's kind of in the middle of the week, but you know, it's because, you know, the BFL is going on right now, and I guess they don't want people driving all the way home and then driving all the way back up here, which makes sense. But anyway, just kind of chilling out here. I got some food from Pizza Palace. I got some French fries and a hoagie, a buffalo chicken hoagie. And I am watching ESPN 8 The Ocho. There's cornhole on. For those of you who don't know, spoiler alert, that's from the movie Dodgeball. Basically, one of the running gags is that there's ESPN 8 The Ocho. It's, you know, where an almost obsolete, seldom seen sport goes, and they show it, and I guess they started doing this just kind of as a tribute to that movie. But anyway, got some rods rigged up here. I'm not quite sure. I talked to my boater earlier, and he didn't really tell me a lot of specifics on what he wants to do, which is okay. But I'm gonna throw a few different things. Obviously, I got a drop shot rigged up, Ned rig, a jig, flipping jig. For now, I'm gonna have a swim bait going, and then probably a top water, maybe a jerk bait. We'll just kind of see where the day takes us. But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really pumped. I mean, if the weights last week were any indication, this is gonna be a heck of a tournament, and I'm excited.
Boat number 141, got you 141. Boat number 142, got you 142. Boat number 143, got you 143. Boat number 144, got you 144. Boat number 145.
Fish. Fish on. All right, thank you. Good old Ned rig.
Ned? Huh?
Yeah, I fish that thing pretty religiously.
Yeah, I dropped the net. I haven't got a bite on the net yet.
Let's go 3 in this one. Oh man, I'm surprised even me. Holy crap. Nah. Yeah, that was bigger than, a lot bigger than that. Oh, come. Yeah, they do. That was as soon as it hit the water. Thunk. Yeah. I'll check out short. Heavy. Oh. Well, he touches barely. Later though. He's all right. Well, but I've got to fight at least. There's one. Fish. he's off too. Oh, he's back. Did it again. Coming around. Boy. Oh yeah, get in here. I think that one. Thanks. That might be a bedfish, actually. Actually, just the weightless senko.
Okay.
Took it, lost it, and then he hit it again. Oh yeah. Fish on. Thank you. There's my 5. Yep. That's a decent jump for the film.
That again, huh?
Yep. Get that little guy out of there. Well, that's a good call. Don't worry about it. Yeah, what's this green fish here? Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, there was one with them. This might be the one I let go. Looks like it. I don't know yet. Yeah, just to be safe. Oh, it's a large. Oh, yeah, it's a largemouth. There we go. Oh, that's a smallmouth. I thought it looked like largemouth from there. Coming around. Let's see if he helps. Oh, man. It's smallmouth. I thought it was. Well, there it looked like a largemouth. Thank you.
Gonna help you.
Yeah. Neko rig. And the first one you choked it. 42, John Pascavage.
Hold that bag for me, sir. There you go, sir. Thank you. Next. Come on.
Next up, calling out of Warriors Mark, Pennsylvania, John Pascavage. 5 in a bag. Bagging all up here for me, John. That's 5. 5 today, they're steel. We're going to weigh them in at 14 pounds, 7 ounces. After your penalty. Got a penalty on there. Thank you, man.
14, I had 2 dead. 14.7.
After penalty.
Yep.
That's not bad.
Thank you. So I ended up in 25th overall on the co-angler side, which was good enough to get a check because they pay out to the top 20% of places. And it was an absolutely loaded field, 156 boats, so 156 co-anglers. But you know, I weighed in 14 pounds, 7 ounces after an 8-ounce penalty for 2 dead fish. And I want to address that real quick. I don't know the entire story, so I'm going to give my perspective on what happened because, you know, I still feel awful about those dead fish. I hate like heck for that to happen to them. I mean, you know, for us bass fishermen, especially up in upstate New York like that, those giant smallmouth, they're, you know, they're kind of the future of the fishery there. And they're a valuable resource. And I just want to make it clear that, well, on the way, here's what happened. On the way in, we were, you know, coming in, we checked in 3:30, and I had one fish that I had hooked kind of deep, but I managed to get the hook out, and it seemed okay. It was a little wonky, but I figured I could, you know, revive it enough and it would be okay. But I got back, and, well, there was probably a line of a good 70, 80 people waiting on the weigh-in bags, because at the BFLs they have they have 30 TH Marine weigh-in bags. So, you know, and usually the line's maybe 20 people tops to get weigh-in bags, right? So, you know, I left there, and basically I'm standing in line probably for a good hour or so. And, you know, apparently the story I got, and, you know, like I said, feel free to agree, disagree, or add more context if you know, and I'm just giving my perspective and, you know, my account, my side of the story here. I'd heard that in the first flight there had been some sort of malfunction with the scale they were using. So, I mean, I don't know if they had to kind of redo everything or what happened there, but that was the reason we were given for why the line for the bags was so long. And I probably waited about an hour to get my bags, and finally got them. I go back, and, you know, I look in the live well, and 2 of my fish are just belly up. And I don't know if that was, I don't think, you know, my boater did a great job. He was, you know, keeping the aerators running, dumping ice in, and he didn't really have a problem. So I don't know if it was the one that I hooked deep died, or maybe I don't think I needed to fizz them, because, you know, a lot of the fish I caught were from 20 feet or less. So I don't know if that was an issue or not. But, you know, they seemed fine. Like, you can even look at some of the clips. All the fish were nice and lively in the live well when I caught them. So I think it might have just been them sitting there and getting a bit warmer water than, you know, from where they were used to, and they were kind of shocked. But yeah, that's what happened, and I had a 2-pound penalty for that. So I would have been, you know, with that, I would have been around 15 pounds and probably somewhere around 20th. A grand total of around $20. But, you know, it is what it is. I still got in the money and still had a great time, caught a lot of nice fish, and it's an absolutely great fishery up there at Lake Champlain. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you of some of about some of what I caught the fish on and what was working, what wasn't working. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, surprisingly enough, I didn't catch a single keeper on the drop shot with max scent. I have, well, what's left of my drop shot tied off here. I lost the weight and, well, the bait's kind of kinked up. But yeah, I really thought this was going to be, because when I was reading about the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, the top 4 or 5 guys, they were all, you know, chasing offshore schools with live scope and max scent drop shots. That's all it was. So, I mean, I'm not saying, I'm pretty sure that produced a lot of fish this tournament as well, but for me, it didn't produce a keeper. I mean, I caught panfish on, I had a couple of bites, which I'm pretty sure were smallmouth, or they may or may not have helped, but I didn't get them in. So I'm kind of believing that maybe they saw so many of these things that they were a little conditioned to them, right? But finesse technique, one of my favorites, you've seen me fish this a lot before, the Ned rig, the old deadly Nedley. It's just a TRD, and it's a green pumpkin, black flake Z-Man TRD on a 10th ounce shroom head. I got I think this is 10 or 15 pound a 10 or 15 pound braid to an 8 pound fluorocarbon line. Worked out really well. And in fact, I'll tell you something else. I actually went down to 6 pound line a couple of times on for these leaders on my finesse techniques, just because I noticed I'm getting a few more bites, and all you got to do is loosen the drag a bit more. Either loosen the drag or back reel. It works out really well, and I would say it definitely makes a difference. It's definitely something if you want to get a few more bites, or really, you know, once you're kind of into the grind of the day, do something to kind of differentiate yourself from the pack a bit. This is the thing to do. Another thing is that when I was at the Thousand Islands, St. Lawrence River, I was throwing this on a 5th ounce, just because it was a little deeper. I wanted to get down to the bottom. But what I actually find is that this is a 10th ounce shroom head, 10th ounce jig head. So it gets me down. I can feel the bottom up to, you know, in really deep water, but also I think it has a little bit of a slower, more erratic fall. And a lot of times I found that I was either catching fish on the fall, like it hit the water and go down, I'd feel the thunk, or I'd really have to pause it on the bottom and kind of just shake it and hop it, or even just kind of grind it like I would a shaky head. But that worked out quite well, and I caught a lot of fish on that. Now, for the moving bait I threw most of the day, it was this is a Strike King Sexy Dog topwater. This is Chartreuse Sexy Shad color, and you've seen me throw this color before a lot. It's a good combination of shad, perch. You can see a bluegill in there. It just covers all your bases from a color standpoint. I just got this going on, this is 30 pound braid, and nice little walking bait. As you saw, I was throwing this over some grass flats and on the edges, and I caught a really nice smallmouth on this, quite another blow up. And I had another one that, oh my goodness, it hurt that I lost. I don't have it on video, but because I didn't even have the camera rolling yet. I mean, it hit as soon as we rolled up to the spot, you know. We rolled up, I was probably 2 casts in, boom, it was a nice smallmouth. It blew up, jumped a few feet in the air, and then it went under the water and shook the hook. That would have helped out quite a bit. But yeah, that's what I was throwing mostly for my moving bait. And of course, I have the old Gary Yamamoto Senko. This is just 5-inch green pumpkin with black flake. I was throwing it Texas rigged on a 3/0 EWG worm hook, weightless, and just, you know, I was either pitching it into the milfoil or the grass, or working it right along the edges and just letting it slow and kind of making a long cast and just slowly working it back to the bait or back to the boat, and caught some good fish on that, including my 5th keeper and a couple of really nice ones on that. And then later in the day, we went to another spot, and I culled one last time. Basically what I have is this guy right here. This is the Daiwa Gary Yamamoto. This is the 5-inch fat neko. This is a baby bass color. I'd actually heard a couple of guys saying that the baby bass color was working out really well. So what I just do is, I don't have it rigged up right now, but all I do is I actually just take a dry. You can actually get screw-in weights, tungsten screw-in weights, but what I actually do is I can get about 100 drywall screws for the same price as maybe 8 of those. I just screw them right in here, and then put an O-ring on, kind of where you can kind of see where that egg sac is, right? And stick an O-ring on either end of that. If I want to fish it like a shaky head, kind of work it along the bottom, I'm going to put it kind of towards the front. Whereas if I want to fish it more like a wacky rig and really get the fall action and those sides undulating, and this is what I was actually doing at Champlain, I rig it more towards the middle. And I caught my final keeper of the day on that. It was a really nice, I'm guessing, it was probably a good 3.5. And I had it allowed me to pull out one of my probably 2.5 ones, get me a little more weight. And I honestly think I should have thrown this a bit earlier, just because I pitched this into a nice little clump. There was probably about 15 feet of water and a nice clump of milfoil. And just as soon as it started falling, thunk, I had my final keeper. So I'm guessing maybe this was a little different from what they were seeing, and it would have allowed me to get a few more bites. But that's definitely something to try as well. Then finally, for the finishing touch, this stuff right here. This is garlic crawfish Liquid Mayhem. You've seen me talk about this stuff a lot, and of course, full disclosure, I am sponsored by them, but I don't know what it is. This scent on soft plastics and finesse baits, no matter where you go, it just, summertime smallmouth, they love it, right? I mean, even here in central Pennsylvania on, say, Racetown and Sayers, or even just the river, all the way up to, the Great Lakes and some of the places we're fishing on these tours. This stuff, the smallmouth dig this stuff. It's just, you don't need a lot. All I do is I take my plastic and just little dollop of it, kind of rub it up and down there, and it stays on for at least several dozen casts. And there's definitely a noticeable difference between having this on there and not having it on there. And then another thing I decided to try this tournament, this is something relatively new. Some people swear by it and say, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and others say they notice no difference. It's this stuff right here. I bought a bottle of this. This is bait fuel. It's a water-based fish attractant. What you're supposed to do with it is actually, you put it in the bag. In fact, let me show you this. I have those senkos, those green pumpkin senkos I was just talking about. I have it on in there. You can see it kind of soaks them pretty well, and it solidifies a bit more and leaves a bit of a residue, and also makes them nice and slick, so they come through vegetation a bit better. And well, if you just try and smell it in the bottle, it's weird. It's like, if you just try and smell it in the bottle, it doesn't smell like much. But I happen to notice that when I put it in with the plastics, it kind of took on like a Jack's Juice style of scent, I had like a real faint, kind of just a real faint, mellowy odor. It wasn't anything overpowering. And I would say that was making a definite difference as well. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm not quite sure what's in this, but I did happen to, by accident, get a little taste of it. Don't ask me how, but it tastes salty. It tastes a little bit salty, actually. So, I mean, I'll let you read between the lines on that one and kind of take it as you will. But, yeah, it definitely helped out and made quite a difference. Now, next up will be Cayuga Lake, New York. Cayuga Lake. It's going to be the BFL Northeast. It's the Super Tournament, so 350 points up for grabs. The Champlain tournament, it moved me up into 4th place in overall points in the Northeast. So I need the stars to align a bit, but I have a shot at Co-Angler of the Year, and I'm also in a good position right now to make the top 45 cut to advance to the regional on the James River in October. So hoping to do that. And you've seen me fish Cayuga a few times with the TBF. I fished that as a boater, actually. You see me fish a couple of the PA State Championships, and I got to admit, I love fishing up there, but I have just never been able to put 2 good days in a row together. You know, I always have one day where I catch 16, 17, 18 pounds up there, which is, I mean, that's no 20-pound bag, which is, you know, you got to have, I think to win there as a boater, you usually have to have around a 20-pound bag each day. You know, you usually need around 40 pounds total to win it for a 2-day event. But, you know, I always have that. I usually have one good day, and then the other day I can barely scrape together a limit, or I barely get, like, you know, a limit that's around 10 to 12 pounds. So hoping to change that this time. But, oh, and that'll also be, I'll also be coming back from the beach for that whole week. I'll be down Fenwick Island, Delaware, going down there for the family vacation. And then Gretchen and I are gonna come back Thursday night. So, you know, and I'll drive up Friday. I'm thinking about taking my boat and just getting a little bit of practice just to see what's going on. And I'm also watching the Bass Pro Tours there right now, and it seems like they're slamming fish on drop shots and a few other things. So definitely paying attention to that and getting ready for that. But I'm really excited for it. So here's to hoping I can do it. Anyway, I want to thank y'all for watching and following me on this journey. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, comment anything down below, and let me know if you have any questions or suggestions or anything like that. I appreciate you all, appreciate all of my viewers, and I want to thank you for watching, and have a great evening.